probably a guy with a flag somewhere. Don't let them hit you too many times. See if we can get one to hit the other one by shooting him. Okay. Oh, I just hit you on accident. Sorry about that.
Got him.
Okay, he's dead. There may be a third one. Keep an eye out.
I need to keep food on me. How do I haven't had food?
Usually the patrols have a flag bearer, or what is he called? The captain or whatever. Guy who's got a banner on his back. Gotta kill him so we can get the thing that allows us to do a raid. He's probably in a hole somewhere. I always seem to fall into holes and just get stuck there. Okay, well, I don't see him. We probably don't need to worry. Did you get a crossbow or anything out of that?
I did not.
Dang. So we just got arrows. But yeah, that's probably the best part about them is you get a crossbow occasionally. Or you can get emeralds, iron equipment generally. So it's not bad taking them out. It's actually not a bad idea. Just gotta be careful with it. Character. Every time I open the menu and see his face,
a little jarring.
It's just, oh, it's good.
Looks like somebody cooked. His eyes look like eggs. Like somebody just baked some eggs.
Yep. When you're making charcoal.
Yeah, there's a bunch in there. You can take whatever. I can make more if you need. I was gonna go mining here soon.
Yeah, I was just thinking we should probably make some in order to. Dang, dude, where'd you get all this meat? How many animals did you kill?
Don't worry about
it. You didn't drop this from earlier.
No,
did
I
you?
did. I went and slaughtered a bunch of animals. I'm gonna go kill a little bit more animals so we get more food, and then I'm gonna go to the mine.
Okay, I've got 12 torches, so where do we want to start mining at?
Oh, wherever. I mean, our mountain's pretty cool. If you like go outside and to the right, you can find a nice little spot to start
Just
with.
dig into it somewhere. Well, start right here then.
I'm gonna build a couple beds for us
Make
too.
us a nice, decent-sized door.
Are alpacas good for anything other than carrying things? Or are they?
They have leather.
Mm.
They drop leather when you kill them, so that can be helpful. I don't know if you can get anything else from them other than use them as means to get leather and carrying chests.
So, I guess for YouTube, for the audience, another reason why I wanted to do this is because in my lifetime, like probably the general public that plays Minecraft, is we've built so many different levels. Like I feel like I've started 100 different levels. And what I wish is I could go back in time to visit each one of those levels to see what I created. Like the first level I ever made back in high school when I bought Minecraft. I wish I could go back to that. And so I feel like if we start a level now and play 1,000 episodes on it, that will take us up to maybe a year and a half of play. It'd be really cool to go back in a year to this specific episode and be like, yo, like, this is really cool. We could see what we started building here and go all the way back through. You know what I mean? It's like a story or a journal, a Minecraft journal, which is like a really cool appeal to me. You know what I mean? I've seen people that have done Let's Plays where it's like, oh, I've been playing Minecraft for 10 years, like you were saying earlier. It's just kind of cool to go back and revisit it all. But, yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
It will be good.
Okay, I'm gonna build us some beds. But, I mean 6 feet apart, Jord, because remember when we recorded this that there was a thing called the coronavirus?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, I go to Walmart and I see all these people wearing masks and stuff. But I'll tell you what, funniest thing that Cole was telling me about, I did not witness this, but he definitely did. He said that he went to Walmart and he saw a woman who had a mask on, but her 3 children did not.
That kind of defeats the purpose.
That's what I thought. And the only thing I could think of is, oh, well, maybe she is more susceptible, because they've already talked about that kids aren't as susceptible.
Okay, but that doesn't mean the kids. I mean, just because they aren't as susceptible doesn't mean they can't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was
get it.
thinking. Is it's like, well, they could
And that's the whole
they
point
could
is
still get
you
it.
don't want them bringing
Yeah,
it
exactly.
home,
And that's what
because if they bring it home,
that's what I was saying. And I'm like, huh.
Doesn't really make sense. Dude, oh, I saw somebody flying a Confederate flag the other day out of their car.
You kidding?
And I'm just of all places, why here? We weren't even a state when the Confederacy existed and was defeated. Why is that a thing?
Well, what kind of rat bastard would do that?
I know. And I'm just like, are you kidding? And I'm just like, this is seriously. It's just got to be to get public outcry or something. There's no way.
Well,
I mean, in all honesty, there's no way most people can believe that's worth supporting in this day and age, unless they're just trying to get a rise out of people. Because
well, what's the rise? What are you trying to get? Like the whole Confederacy.
They just want people to get angry.
Wasn't
I think it's
so. Sorry. You're gonna have to remind me. What were Confederates for? It was Confederate against the Union. That's right. So what was the fight over again? Was it racism specifically, or was that just like a byproduct of it?
No. It was like a disagreement. I can't remember exactly. Like states' rights.
I thought it had something to do with slaves
too.
The
South wanted. It did a little bit. They were a part of it. It was a variety of things. I'm not 100% on it, on like what happened or why it happened, but I think it was the South wasn't happy with how they were being represented, and they wanted to leave the United States. They wanted to secede, and is that the right word?
Yeah, secede, to break away.
Yeah, they wanted to break away. They wanted to leave, and the Union knew that neither nation would be able to survive if that happened. So they fought to keep it together, or at least they believed that. And honestly, it's probably likely they wouldn't have survived. Neither would have if they didn't work together. Because I mean, like, you get like what is it? You get like into some of the bigger economic disasters that happened, not even 100 years later, and people would not have, like, the nation would not have survived if it hadn't been for, people fighting to keep it united a decade or not decade, half a millennium prior, but gosh, I can't speak, half a century prior. Like, let me think, when was this Civil War? 1870?
1812?
No, we fought with the British in 1812.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1776 or something? 77?
I think it was 1740.
God, I'm so bad with history, man.
Yeah, no. 1776 is when the United States became a nation, more or less. I'm not 100% on my history. I haven't really read it in so long.
Yeah, same. But I think we're gonna end that episode there. I'm gonna go take a leak. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, speaking of history, though, dude. So I recently watched this past weekend. There's a documentary on Netflix, and it's a World War II documentary. It's called World War II in HD. And I'm gonna be honest, dude. Prior to that, I was so ignorant to war and what it was really like, especially during World War II era. And so when people like get offended by like Germany soldier jokes, like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the N-word, but it hits different now, dude. Like, I totally get it now, and I understand why it's like a no-go subject for a lot of people. It's like really messed up. I'm not sure if you're even back or not. Looks like you're AFK. But yeah, it's I don't know. I watched, like I said, I watched this documentary, and it was a 10-part series documentary on Netflix, and I'm not gonna go into too much of it because I'm gonna wait till he gets back to tell him about it as well. But it is just nuts. Like prior to this, I mean, like in this day and age, I mean, I still think there's wars that go on, but like nothing compared to the death and bloodshed that happened back then. And I don't know, it's like really spooky, man. It's like scary to think about, and I'm so grateful that we don't have to go to war. Like that is just a God-given blessing, honestly. War is a horrible thing, and that documentary like absolutely showed me how terrible war was. And what's nuts too is they're sending kids, dude, like 17, 18 years old. Maybe it was 18. I think 18 was like the minimum. They were sending kids out there to literally go just duke it out, man. And it was just bloody, it was gory, and it is sad. And a lot of these kids were just scarred for life. But I mean, if you can stomach that kind of thing, I would recommend to go watch it. Like it's very sad and it's very bloody, but it's very informative, and it really gives you like a new appreciation for people that fought in those wars. Like it's nuts. It's sad to see, but I mean, it's like I said, it really opens your eyes on the subject of war, specifically World War II. But I mean, just war in general is horrible, and how they were fighting is not good, man. And it also brings to light what kind of horrible person Hitler was. But I don't know. It's very dark, very sad. But I mean, because of that, like we have freedoms now. I mean, Germany tried to take over the world, literally. And they took over most of Europe, which is nuts to even think about. They were able to do that. But I just think it caught a lot of people on, caught them off, what's the word? Caught them by surprise. Really scary to think about. But, I mean, it's better now, I guess. Hasn't been any crazy wars lately. Hopefully I'm accurate by saying that. But yeah, when he gets back, I'll go into a little more detail. But I think what I'm going to do right now is... I think I got enough wood. I think I'm going to go get a little bit more food. That's the move.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that I may as well start recording.
Yeah, go for it.
Why not?
That bunny just died. Oh, that bunny just died.
Oh, dude, they have. I've never seen them myself, but I've. I don't know if it's in this game. Hold on. Are you kidding me? OBS wants to update. I don't know if it's in the Java version or if it's in this one like in Java. But they have apparently a killer bunny.
Really?
That's just part of the game. Occasionally, you can find a red-eyed white bunny that will attack you.
Is it like a call out to Monty Python?
It's a reference. Yeah, it's a reference to Monty Python's murderous bunny.
Really cool. That's just a rabbit.
What's it do? Nibble your bum?
That's such a good movie, dude.
So good.
So one thing I was telling the audience about while you were gone is talking about history specifically. I recently watched a documentary on Netflix called World War II in HD, and oh my, dude, that was such an eye-opening experience for me. Like I felt horrible.
I can imagine.
Like I don't know if you've ever like looked into any World War II footage or anything like that.
A tiny bit, not a lot of it.
So like
I try.
Yeah,
not to.
it's
pretty
It is
messed up.
so messed up, dude. And like, I have a newfound appreciation for people that fought in the war and just people that lived at that time at all. Like, I don't know. I think prior to that, I was like, yeah, old people, whatever. But now I'm like, holy crap, dude, respect. When they say respect your elders, dude, I will freaking throw a salute up and respect them. Because it was dark. Like some of the imagery that they show and like footage that they had actual journalists go capture during these wars is horrible. Yeah. Absolutely horrible. Like, you see footage of people with their literally their brains are blown out. Like, and you see this. But it's just I don't know, man. It was a very, very scary but eye-opening experience for me, dude. And it really portrays how horrible of a person Hitler was. Like,
oh, totally.
There was like this one scene where some guy actually filmed this. It was a German soldier that filmed this. But they go to Serbia when they're taking over Serbia, and they just pick random people, like 30 random people, and they lined up half of them, and they shot them in front of everybody, and then they hung the rest in front of everybody. Yeah, and it's just like, dude, like, what a world changer. Imagine living in Germany and your life's just happy, go lucky, and then you wake up one day and it's like, oh, if I'm a Jew, I'm dead. Like, they're killing all of us for no reason.
Yep.
It's like, dude, your world is just turned upside down instantly, and there's nothing you can even do about it. But yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. I just had to make sure that the other microphone was working.
Cool.
Yeah, it's so messed up. Actually, I borrowed this book from Jess. I tried to look it up to see if I could find it to buy it anywhere, because I remember reading it years ago. And I seriously, the only copy I could find that I could either rent, I think it was only rent, I don't think I could buy it, but the only copy I could find was for rent, and it was only in a Chicago library.
Really?
Like, and I looked online for like a good 2 hours to see if I could find it. It's called I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's like called like Sobibor or something like that. It was the name of one of the death camps.
Oh, like one of the hermit camps. What are they called?
Yeah.
Where they put all the Jews and they slaughter them all. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah. It had, if I remember correctly, it had gas chambers in it.
Yeah.
It was one that was completely like disassembled and buried before or just after, I can't remember, either just before or just after the war ended, pretty much. Like, Germany was trying to hide the fact that it existed. And the person who wrote the book, he talks about how, well, one, what it was like being in the camp.
Was it a soldier that wrote it, or somebody that survived?
No, he was a survivor.
Oh.
And he and some other people, they planned an escape. And he documented, like, he wrote down in the book, like, where he went, what he did when he escaped, and how they were actively hunting for them. And I can't remember if he said he was the only one who escaped to survive. I can't remember exactly, but he's the reason that they learned, like, the Allies learned that camp even existed, because when they went back to find it, when he led people back to find it, it was completely buried. Like, all of it was taken down and buried.
Oh.
And he was saying he's not sure if anybody would have even known that camp existed had he not escaped.
That's nuts.
It is a really good book. It's really, really messed up and sad, but it's good to see. Like, he seemed like such a nice guy, like the way he talked about things. And I don't know, in my mind, it just kind of helped paint a clear picture of, like, how these are just average, everyday people who weren't doing anything wrong. They were just living their lives, and somebody decided, hey, we're going to kill everyone.
Yeah, for no reason.
Like,
for no reason.
It's just so messed up.
It's dumb, dude. But it was I don't know, like those. I can't remember what they're called, dude. It's gonna bug the heck out of me that I can't remember this. Well, I don't. There's some. They're called something camp, like a. Man, I don't remember.
Internment, death camp. No, concentration camp.
That's it. They in the documentary they show one of them, dude, and like outside of one of these camps is just bodies piled high. Just there's probably 200 people just in these piles of dead bodies.
Yeah.
They just burn them. It's just
they put them in mass graves and they
it's
burned
just sad,
and then
dude.
buried.
It's just so sad. But
it's
yeah,
shocking how people.
that's
could do
exactly
something like that.
that's what I would say is very shocking. But yeah, it was, I don't know, it was such a surreal thing for me to watch that people actually filmed it, you know what I mean? And it's just kids, dude. It was kids that went out and fought these wars too.
A lot of them were younger than we are.
Oh, that's what's scary, dude, is it's like, yeah, like 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids going out to fight.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, dude, at all, you know? I'm 23 and I still feel like a kid.
Well, one of the things that I always appreciate though is after the fact, all of these veterans who fought in World War II, they don't care who the enemy was. They have respect for each other. Like they all went through the same experiences. They all dealt with the same crap, and they're so thankful that they're not alone in having to deal with that. Like that's one of the things I love seeing is like you get Allied soldiers meeting with Japanese soldiers, and you know they're all just a bunch of old men who are just like, it's a silent sort of acknowledgement of like we understand what happened.
Well, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of it is they didn't even
nice to see that they respect each other.
like they didn't even want to fight each other, dude.
No,
it's like
they I think there was a lot of that on every side. It's just like, I don't know, it's one of those things of don't get, like, it's just kind of a warning, like don't get caught up too much in anything, whether that's politics or propaganda or just anything. Like don't let stuff tell you how to think.
Can I have all your stone? I'm gonna go build stairs.
Oh yeah. I got a lot.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just really sad to see, dude, because it's like one of the guys, one of the old guys that was a full soldier and fought in it. Like he was one of the commanding officers, and he lost a bunch of men. He said that there was this one kid, they were pinned down by a machine gun, and he was telling the kid, he's like, nobody get up, telling all his men, nobody get up. And one of the kids was like, hey, I think they're done shooting at us. And he said, don't get up. And the kid got up, and he just saw him get blasted dead right in front. But one of the things he said, war's dumb. He's like, it's so dumb. Like we just need to love each other. And somebody asked, like, well, are you angry at Japanese people or Germans? He says, no, I know that they feel the exact same way, that war's just dumb. Like unbelievably dumb. It's just sad.
Well, I don't know how much is true or not, but I know I've seen a few documentaries talking about some of the German generals and how literally the only reason that they went along with things was just because they were already in that before, you know, the Nazi Party took over Germany, but two, they felt that they would be better at managing, like, I'm trying to think how what word was used. It was basically keeping, like, it'd be better to have a general who would accept prisoners and who would not be completely ruthless toward his enemies and his own soldiers than it would be to have some complete psychopath assigned by, you know, the German SS or Hitler himself. Like, I just, like, a good example was Rommel, General Rommel. Like, we base a lot of our military bases, a lot of their tactics off of him and things he did. But if I remember correctly, he didn't agree with what Hitler did. He just went along with it because he was like one of the top-ranking generals in all of Germany.
Well,
I don't know if he had anything to lose or not, but if I remember correctly, he was one of the few to actually be able to openly criticize things that Hitler did.
I see. Well, yeah, that's what it seems like though. Is like a lot of these soldiers just did it out of fear. They're like, well, I don't want to die.
Well, a lot of it, especially if you were just a citizen who was recruited, a lot of it would have been fear. Just because, what's the alternative? You know, tortured and brutally murdered.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants that. But I mean, it's the same with our military even now. They do terrible, terrible things. But what's the alternative? You get court-martialed and thrown in prison for, you know, like your entire life, or you know, I mean, even if it's just for a short period of time. If somebody looks at your resume and they're like, "Oh, you were in the military. You were dishonorably discharged and court-martialed and imprisoned. I don't think I want to hire you." You know, like it could ruin your life. And so it's one of the things where, not that the military's bad, but I'm one of those people who's actively thinking we should find alternatives to our problems rather than fighting.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm the same way, dude. Like I don't get me wrong. Like I'm very grateful for the military and people willing to protect, because you're always gonna have nutsos out there. But I agree, dude. Like fighting, I just don't believe is the answer. But right now, I don't know what another alternative is, unless everybody's just like, oh hey, yeah, let's not fight anymore.
Yeah.
Unless the whole world's on the same page, which I feel like for the most part, most people are. I feel like most people are generally like, no, like come on guys, we're over holding guns at each other and shooting each other. Like let's try to make the world a better place. But I still know there's a lot of corrupt people running the world, so until they die off and we get some actual genuine people that actually care.
Definitely.
But I don't know. Then again, I'm not qualified to really speak on the subject. I've never been in war and I don't know much about politics, but from what I observe, I don't know. It's just sad, messed up, and above all else, unnecessary.
I mean, just, if anything, generally speaking, even for people who disagree, there's a lot of people in the world who disagree, like, on tons of things. A lot of them don't attack each other. A lot of them don't try to kill each other. But for some reason, in certain places, and unfortunately here in America, it's one of those places, people see those fundamental differences as a reason to kill people, and to me that just doesn't make sense.
Well, it's
like, we can all agree to disagree. It's like, if you're not doing anything to hurt anybody else or doing anything to take away anybody else's rights, you know, why should anybody care? Why should you care what they're doing?
I totally agree. It's like it has to be that, dude. That's one of the cool things about humans, though, is we're not all the same. Dude, if we were all the same, this world would just be boring as hell. But the fact that we have diversity is what I've always loved about the human race. Is like every country and every place you go visit. Like I've been to probably 12 different countries in my life, and every single one of them is extremely different from another. People live different lives, they speak differently, they eat differently, they do everything differently. But one thing that I've always thought was really cool going to all these different places is the people are generally good people. Like I think most people mean well, and I would argue that probably 9 out of 10 people would say that, like, if not 10 out of 10 people, with the exclusive -1% would say that war's bad and unnecessary. You know what I mean? I feel like 9 out of 10 people would say that.
Well, that's the thing, is that the people that keep perpetuating war usually are people who make money from it.
Yeah, that's what sucks about it too. Is that's what starts wars is money, dude. You really look into it, like war brings in money. That's the bottom line. Which sucks, dude. It sucks so bad that that's like even a thing. But I don't know.
That's one of the things that one of the sad truths we've learned about humanity is we can monetize the crap out of anything.
Mostly negative things though, dude. Which is,
mostly.
I wish it would turn over. Which I feel like because of YouTube in the last, 6-7 years, there's been a lot. It's easier to get the good out. You know what I mean? Before it was just news outlets and radio stations which lie about everything, and if that's all you're getting your news from, what else are you supposed to believe? Like, it's so easy to just bury people back in the day. Like, you disagree with politicians, boom, your reputation's tainted. You know what I mean? and you couldn't defend yourself. You could not defend yourself because the news publications were the ones that were out journaling everything. You know what I mean? They were the ones reporting on all this stuff. And who is the people going to believe? You know what I mean? Especially if you get slandered.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But I feel like nowadays it's a lot easier for people to, one, speak their mind, and two, get the truth out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just because if somebody like slanders your name, you have an ability to go. You can get on your phone and put on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, YouTube, what your thoughts are on the matter. Say, no, this is wrong. Like, this isn't what happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it happened. Which, I mean, it's good and bad. Like, I don't know. It's a lot better, I think, nowadays than it was back then.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think one of the things that does keep perpetuating some of our troubles in the world is the way that certain countries, U.S. is guilty of this for sure. Certain countries portray themselves, both right now and in the past. Like the U.S., for whatever reason, continues to portray itself and argues that it always has been sort of this paragon of virtue and righteousness. And it's like the U.S. has done just some of the most horrific things in the world, and all of it made the country better, for the most part, but it's like it's unfortunate that we continue to have this mentality of as long as it helps us, who cares who it hurts. Yeah. Like literally, like we were saying, with every war that we were involved in basically made us money somehow, at least all the more recent ones. I think the only genuine wars that didn't make us money were the ones where, basically World War I, World War II, and anything before that, just because people probably hadn't quite figured out how to monetize it as easily, but also they were wars that were not started by us in an attempt to get something. They were wars that were started by an aggressor trying to actually conquer the world.
Well, like Pearl Harbor is what got us involved.
Yeah.
You need another pick?